Computer's recording, sound's recording, GoPros are recording. Really should show me which buttons to actually push, hey?
Maybe.
Tell me what button to push. Tell me the go button.
So, video, just do a quick 3, 2, 1 on your platform.
Did you just call me groovy?
No, I said can you do a quick 3, 2, 1 on the platform?
Before that. 3, 2, 1.
I wasn't recording, try that.
Did you just take a...
No. There we go.
3, 2, 1.
Beautiful.
Awesome. We online? Cool. Let's do it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nathan for Dinner. Tonight we're cooking my signature dish, Bosciola sauce on a steak. Now normally I would actually stuff an entire rump with this, but today we're making it with Scotch fillets. Yes, Scotch fillets. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the sauce to go basically on top of the steak, kind of like a steak sauce really. So to go through it, our basic ingredients are of course our classic butter, garlic and onion. We're going to throw some basil in there for some seasoning. We have our bacon, some mushroom and some shallots. Now you guys can throw in some capsicum, put some extra body in it, or some avocado as well. I like putting that in there too. Today I'm making a side salad, a spinach and rocket leaf salad. Don't know what I'm going to put in it yet. We're going to figure that out when it comes. And we're making a side of garlic bread. So 3 base things, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a steak organized so it gets cooked slowly. Now unfortunately today I've only got small pans, so I'm going to be using 2 pans at once to multitask, but that's all cool. So the first thing we're going to do is simply put a steak outside. We're going to organize the ingredients for our sauce. Now our first ingredients are our onion and of course our garlic. So, have I got any loose garlic here? No, I'm going to start a new clove. I like to use lots of garlic, so I'm going to use at least 4 cloves here, 5 cloves, because, well, I can. So I always make this dish on my camps and everywhere else I go, sometimes for dates too, because it tastes incredible. The only downside to this dish is, cream as well, of course, and some white wine. The only downside to this dish is that it is very filling. So if you want to keep a date live and active, I would recommend against this one, because once you eat it, you're like, I just want to sleep. And of course, more importantly, make sure you got yourself a glass of wine to cook with. Priorities. For those of you over 18. For those of you under 18, you can have a lovely glass of water or Coke or juice. Have some juice. That works out well. Today I'm drinking a Tinto, a Vinfera wine. It's from Mudgee. I was out there only a couple of months ago and bought a couple of bottles of this, so it's exciting. Quite enjoying it. All right, so our garlic is almost peeled. Now, if you guys want to take a shortcut and use minced garlic, by all means, feel free to. I'm going to dice it up. I'm going to do my onions first. I'm going to use just under half an onion today. I'm going to sneeze in a second. That garlic got to me. Maybe? Nah, we're cool. All right. So guys, when you're doing your onion, of course, remember, leave the one end on to dice it through. And then you can just, cut 95% of the way through it, leaving the end intact, because that makes it really easy to dice. So I'm doing some fairly thick chunks today, because I can. Just like that. Now, as you can see, it still looks perfectly intact, yet when I go to slice it, it's nice and diced. So I'm cooking for 4 today. I've got 4 steaks here, and hence the size of the ingredients. So the per person basis of measuring your ingredients, you'll see in the ingredients list below, or click the tab to get your little shopping listing for this recipe, and type in how many people you're cooking for, tell you everything you need to know. Okay, so that's my onion all diced up. I'm going to stick that in a bowl here. Shove that all in there, make a mess of it. Oh, there it is. There's the onion crying. Uh-oh. I almost survived this recipe. I get very emotional when I cook these recipes. Oh, this is the time you have a sip of wine that fixes it. A sip of wine fixes everything. All right, garlic time. So just dice your garlic up if you're not using minced garlic. And my butter's here ready to go. Now I've taken my butter out of the fridge now, just because I want it to soften a little bit so it's easy to throw in the pan, rather than having to carve chunks off. So just dice that garlic up nice and fine. Doesn't have to be too fine for this recipe, but The finer it is, the more even the flavor. Chop that through. I think my favorite part of cooking this recipe, like all recipes, is that first moment when I put it in the pan and the onion and the garlic starts to brown in the butter. I love that. It's the best smell in the world. So guys, you can cook this on a fry pan, you can cook it in an oven, you can cook it on a barbecue, you can cook it on a fire. I've done this on a fire before. You just need to organize your sauce on one thing and decide what you're going to cook your steak in. When I do the rump, I actually cook this at for 3 hours. So I'd make the sauce up, carve the inside of the rump out, pack the sauce in there, roll it up and stuff it, wrap it in foil and stick it in the oven for 3 to 4 hours on the lowest temperature I possibly can. Oh, before I do that, I sear the actual meat. Always sear the outside of your meat. Stuff your stuffing in there, put it in the oven, and just leave it be to bake slowly so you can do it hours in advance. I'm going to need a bigger bowl than that one to fit all my garlic in. Let's use this one. It's a fair amount of garlic. All right, so then we're going to do our mushrooms. Now I've got medium-sized mushrooms here, so I'm going to use about 1.5 mushrooms on average per person, depending on the size. Actually, before I do my mushroom, I'm going to do my shallots. Actually, my mushrooms are on top. We'll do the mushrooms now. So your mushrooms, simply chop your mushrooms, cut them in half, put your flat side down, and it makes it really easy to slice through them. Not necessarily as fast as what I'm doing, because you want to leave your fingers intact. It takes a bit of time for you to get used to moving a knife that close to your fingers that quickly, so feel free to practice it. I find chopping mushrooms really therapeutic, actually. I'm not sure why. Maybe because it requires so much focus yet so little at the same time. I used to always chop the mushrooms when I used to work in restaurants and kitchens. It used to be my favorite task. Happily sit there and chop mushrooms for a good 20 minutes if I had to. All right. Now, it may seem like a lot of mushroom to start with, but you got to remember, guys, when you cook mushroom, it shrinks really quickly. Now, if you're not a fan of mushrooms, you can leave them out. I would recommend you at least put a little bit in there, because even if you're not a big fan of mushroom, in this sauce, you barely notice it. It just gives it a really nice texture. And that mushroom is not going to fit in that bowl without a bit of motivation. Nothing like a bit of brute force to pack your food. All right. Mushroom tower. Mushroom. No, you know what? We lost a few pieces. We'll just deal with it. Okay, cool. Shallots. I'm going to use 2 shallots today because these are quite large ones. So you just want to pull all the big green bits off like I'm doing there. So that end bits of the thicker stuff is good. And then chop the white sections off the bottom. Get rid of those too. And then just chop them up nice and fine. Again, watching out for your fingers. Shallots don't taste very good with fingers. For the first time today, I actually cooked shallots whole on a pan with some seasoning. Turned out really well. I was really impressed with that recipe. Haven't named it yet, but we'll figure something out for it. Okay, I'm going to get another bowl for my shallots now. Stick all those in another bowl. That's most of my ingredients prepared, I think, for that. What do we got? So we got onions, garlic, shallots. My bacon, of course. How could I forget my bacon? Oh, the shallots just made me cry as well. I don't know how the shallots are stronger than the onion, but it is. Oh, it's making me really emotional now. Woo! This is where it's really good to have a towel on the side so you don't use your onion fingers to get all up in your grill and actually rub your eyes. And as I said before, have a good drink. It fixes everything. I can still feel those shallots, man. They were solid. All right, bacon. Do the bacon last because you don't want to get bacon on your vegetables and stuff for the whole cross-contamination purposes. So now that I'm finished with my board for everything else, I can chop up my bacon just into small strips. Go the whole way through the rashers. I've got 3 rashers here. You want to use anything from half to a full rasher per person, depending on how thick you want to make your sauce. So I'm making extra sauce today for later on, or tonight for that matter. Shove that all back in there. That's our bacon organized. Okay, cool. So our final task, what we're going to do, is we're just going to season our steaks a little bit. And to do that, all we're going to do is I've taken the plastic wrapper off the tray on the steaks because there's no point making dirty dishes. The tray's already got meat on it. Just going to get some pepper here. Dry my hands off because I'm all slimy for the bacon. And we're just going to crack some pepper over the top of it. Just to give it a bit of a seasoning before we sear it. So we're going to sear the steak in itself first, just really quickly on a really hot pan. And then we're going to actually cook it with the sauce. Okay, cool. So just rub that in so it sticks into it with your fingers there, and then flip it. So you're going to lose some of it, that's fine, but just gets a decent amount of it in there to season it. And the same thing again. Some salt and some pepper. Why does the salt things always work so much better than the pepper ones, yet the pepper's the main thing you want? Unless you're like a good friend of mine, Gabby. She's mad crazy about salt. In fact, she'd love that salt grinder because it just keeps going. All right, so that's our meat organized. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the stove up now, fire it up. I've got 2 pans, remember, one to cook my sauce in and one to cook my steak on. So I'm going to be running them simultaneously. You guys can just do one big pan if you want to, or you can do the same thing. This actually speeds the process up. So if you've got more than one steak, you can actually use a large pan to do your steaks in and then a pot to organize your sauce in. Still got tears in my eyes. All right, so, oh, we forgot an ingredient. You guys didn't remind me. You need to organize the basil. So our basil we forgot. Now I need to clean my knife and wipe my board down because I've done bacon on it. Grab my basil out. Now the easiest way to do basil is just to grab a couple of leaves, right? Just like this. Find your biggest leaf, pick your biggest leaf, munch all your other ones up, and then wrap it in your biggest leaf. Just like that. Kind of like a sushi roll sort of thing. And then when you go to chop it, you chop it really fine, and it actually dices it straight off the mark. And by wrapping it in the large one, it holds it all together for you to make it easier for you to chop. Then when you do a final chop through it, you're done really quickly. All right, a bit of basil for us to put in there as well. Okay, now it's time to hit the stove. So we're just going to line up all our ingredients here, pull our basil in, stick that in there. There we go. Okie dokie, so basil, bacon, garlic, mushroom mountain. Oh, I didn't even chop a mushroom, I got too much anyway. Shallots, onion, pepper, butter, and cream. So stick your cream over by the stove, ready to go. Now you're going to need a fry pan, you're going to need a spatula, and a pair of tongs probably. And steaks. I think we're good to go. Let's do it, guys. Whoop. Okie dokie. Okay, so we're now on the stove ready to go, so we're just going to fire it up. Now I've got my main pan here that I'm doing my sauce in on one side. I got a small pan here that I'm doing my steaks in, so I'm just going to do my steaks one at a time. So I'm just going to grab an extra plate out to stack my steaks on when they're done. I'm going to fire both of those up, make sure the gas is on properly. There we go, that's fired up, ready to go. And I'm going to stick some butter in both pans. Just grab a slice of butter in each pan. You won't need as much in the sauce as the bacon will really thicken it up down the track. Stick some butter in both of those. Now, as soon as it's melted, we start to put the rest of our ingredients in. So the first ingredients we're going to put in our sauce is our garlic and our onion. Let that season through, then our shallots and our basil. As for our steaks, they're just going to go straight on one at a time. So you want your steaks, you want the pan really, really hot for your steaks because you're not cooking them the whole way through yet. You're just searing them. Now remember, the trick to cook a really good steak is to only ever flip it once, which is why it's essential you cook that first side properly through. Once it flips, You always remember that once you've flipped it and you take it out of the pan, you leave it that way up and you never flip it again. You move it from plate to pan, never flip it again. Has to stay that same way up. Otherwise, it goes chewy. All right, stick our onions in there and our garlic. People always ask me all the time, like, how is it that your steak tastes so good and is so tender? All the time. I'm like, blipper once. That's it. All it takes. Okay. Oh, and some white wine. If you guys have got some white wine to cook with, you can use that as well. So I've got some on the side just here that I'm going to be using shortly. Once this starts to season up. Okie dokie. Now that butter's all fully melted. I'm going to get my first steak there and stick him in. So our steaks are starting to cook, and so is our garlic and our onion. Oh, there's that smell. There's that smell. My favorite. Little splash of wine in there now. Now where's my, there it is, towel, because my pans get really hot in the handles. So as soon as that onion and garlic starts to brown, we've got to put the next ingredient in. Now remember, have a pair of tongs ready to peek at your steak and keep an eye on that. So how I'm going to do this in two pans is, I'm going to put my two smaller steaks back in the small pan once they're cooked on that same side down, the second side down. Turn it on a low heat and then pour half my sauce into that pan there to soak through and season in on a low heat into those two steaks there. I'm going to empty this pan out briefly into a bowl. I'm going to put the other two steaks in here and then put the other sauce back into this pan. Alrighty. Now I'm pretty sure that my smoke alarms have been reinstalled again, so they're going to go off in a matter of minutes. But at least now the door's open to let some of the smoke out. My exhaust fan doesn't work here, so we deal with smoke alarms instead. It's alright, the boys will go running past in the background of the camera shortly when it goes off. Unless they think now they should probably rip them out. Mind you, I like it going off. It makes it more exciting. Feels like I'm cooking up a storm. Okay, my garlic and my onions started to brown. Let's get my shallots in there straight away. Give that a good stir around. Stir those through there. Now shallots take very little time to cook, so literally 30 seconds before we're going to stick our next ingredient in, which is our basil. Alright, straight in. Scoop all that through. Flick that into it. Alrighty. You can stir it if you want, guys, if you haven't mastered the art of flicking a pan, but I recommend you at least give it a shot. It makes it more exciting. Splash more wine. Whoa, there we go. Now we're talking. All right, now this is where you want to season your sauce to start with. So just grab some pepper, stick that in there while you're waiting. Okay. Oh, now the next ingredient is our bacon. We've got to brown that up. So stick that in there. And stir that in. This pan's getting very full already. But that's all right. It's going to make it more exciting. I will slosh this all over the pan. So I got to say, garlic, onion, bacon, and cream. Best flavor ever. Now this Bosciola sauce I learned from actually an Italian restaurant I work in, where they make it as a pasta. I love making it to put on top of my steak. I don't know where I came up with the idea, I just did one day. And since then I've been cooking it on a regular basis. So there you go, our steak's nice and brown there. We'll flip that over. Give our bacon another good stir through. Whew. As soon as that bacon browns a little bit more, we're going to put our mushrooms in. Now that our pan's hotter, this second side is actually going to cook a lot faster than the first side. Okie dokie. Keep stirring that bacon. Oh, I lost some. My bacon's all stuck together still, so you can make sure you got to break it up. All right, we're looking good, guys. We're looking good. It's time for a sip of wine. Okie dokie, I reckon that steak's going to be done. Yep, as you can see, it's nice and brown on the side underneath there. So I'll put that on my plate, keeping it up the same way. And put my second steak in. So now that first steak can never be flipped again. It must stay up that way exactly every single time. Okay, now my bacon's starting to brown nicely. I'm going to stick my mushrooms in. Now remember, once your mushrooms hit the heat, they're going to shrink in size. I'm going to put a pinch more wine in there. And what that's going to do is create a bit of moisture to evaporate through the mushrooms and soften them faster. Not to mention add some more flavor. All right, let's check that second steak. It's almost done. Oh, it smells amazing. Love this dish, love it. All right, I'm gonna flip my steak over. All right, second steak is flipped. Mushrooms are softening. Now, if you're cooking this for a fancy dinner, what you can do is cook it up to this point in advance, sear your steaks and organize your sauce, but just put less cream in. Let it thicken through and go brown. Leave it on the side, and then all you have to do is add a little bit more cream, stir it through, put it on some small heat to heat it up again, and it looks like you've cooked it fresh. It's one of the best parts about this dish. All right, that second side's almost done. I want to quickly stir my mushrooms once more. So as you can see, those mushrooms are starting to soften and brown and shrink. All right, that second steak's done. Sit him on top there. Get number 3 in. We're doing well, guys. This is good timing. Alrighty. I just want my mushrooms and my bacon to brown that little bit more there before I stick my cream in, because I think it tastes better that way. Okay, while we're waiting for that, what we're going to do is we're going to quickly jump over and start to organize our other stuff now. So guys, this is where you need to clean your chopping board if you've only got one to actually take care of your bread. So clear your chopping board off, get it in the sink, get it washed so you can chop your bread up, all right? Go for it. My butter's finished. Ooh, mushroom. Okay. Knife clean. Board clean. All right, let's hit the stove up. Oh, there's the bacon popping. Okay guys, so our bacon's starting to pop now, so give that a final flick because that means it's pretty much done. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to put a bit of our cream in and stir that through. Now that other steak there is now ready to be flipped as well. Oh, that cream is very thick. Yep, flip that third steak there. Ooh, ha. All right, need some more cream in there. That should cut it for now. Stir that through. Woo. Alrighty, now that our cream's stirred in, what we're going to do is we're just going to turn the heat down on that to let it simmer. That third steak is almost done. Turn that heat on the cream right down on your sauce. Give it a final stir and just leave it be. Give it a stir every few minutes to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. That's good to go. So steak number 3 is under control. Let's get steak number 4 in. While steak's number 4 in, we're going to organize our bread. Oh, totally should have turned the oven on, hey. for our bread, for our garlic bread. Let's go. Okay guys, so my knife dry? Not yet. Now it is. We're just going to slice through our bread. Now the easiest way to do this is to only slice through 3/4 of your bread. Leave the base intact for now. Just like that. Now hopefully your butter's softened up enough to be able to make this. And if you've got a bread knife at home, I'd recommend you using it other than a normal knife. But I don't have a bread knife here today. That's fine. Okay, that's my bread taken care of. My butter's a little bit firm, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a ramekin here. Get a good sized chunk of butter. Stick it in that and pop it in the microwave for just 20 seconds. Now that 20 seconds will soften it nicely so it's easily to spread. Let's check our sauce and steak. Okay, our sauce is looking borderline perfect. It just needs more time. See it's starting to brown around the edges nicely. And our last steak here is ready to be flipped. Okay. This is going really well. Butter's done. So as you can see here, guys, it's half melted. So all I'm going to do now is get a knife out that I'm going to use to spread it and just stir that around. Now, whilst I'm organizing my garlic, that's going to harden up just that little bit, which makes it perfect to spread. So get some more garlic out. Make sure you're listening to your steak there, guys, the way it's searing, because that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do with it if you listen to it. So I can hear my one right now is really almost there because the oil around it, or the butter around it, is really starting to bubble a lot. And you can hear the little popping sounds from it, which means it's almost done. So as soon as we're done peeling our garlic here, it's going to be ready. Now you guys can totally cheat at this point in time and buy a pre-made garlic bread from the shops if you want to. Personally, I prefer making it myself. It's your choice. Okie dokie. Almost all peeled. All right, that's the last one there. No, wait, there's one more. When I was young, my family always put extra things in garlic bread when they made it, like in the butter. I don't think it makes any taste difference. Okay, so our fourth steak is ready. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so this is where we're going to turn the heat down on our pan at the back here. And I would actually recommend you get a paper towel out just to soak up a little bit of that oil, because there is a fair amount of excess butter in there. We don't want that getting in our sauce too much. And you can leave it in there if you want, it's only extra flavor. Personally, I'm just not that big a fan of it. Okie dokie. Now, let's chuck that out. My heat's on nice and low. I'm just going to sit my 2 steaks back in there. 1 and 2. Nope, I'm going to get the little one down the bottom. There it is. 2. Side by side. Oh, that tastes good. And then I'm going to get my sauce here and just scoop some of my sauce over on top of it. So you really want to turn that heat right down. That's still quite hot in there. Actually, I'm going to turn it off first. Let the pan cool a bit. Scoop my sauce in. Alrighty. Now I'm going to get that extra bowl out, put the rest of my sauce into. Fantastic. I'm going to turn that one right down low as well. Put my other 2 steaks in the big pan there. 1 and 2, up the exact way they were cooked last. Perfect. Then I'm going to pour my lovely chunky juicy sauce all over the top of it. A little bit more in here. Okay. And I'm now going to fire that second one back up. I'm actually going to move this one to the back stove on a smaller burner, so that it cooks slower. Nice and low. Now you want to keep an eye on those to make sure they're not going to overcook at all. And by overcook I mean bubble and burn. Man, that sauce is sensational. Woo! Let's get cleaning. Okay guys, so let's finish off our garlic bread here. We're just going to dice up our garlic, stick it in our butter, and then spread it around in there. I'm really lazy when it comes to this, so I literally just pour it into the bread pretty much. As long as your garlic's diced up enough to spread it out, you're in the money. Okay, so steaks are cooking through slowly. Garlic bread's about to go in, and then all we have to do at the end is organize our salad. Okay, that's good enough for me. I'm going to grab that garlic, shove it in the bowl with my butter, and use my knife, mush it in, spread it around, stir it up. I'm actually going to take the end of this off because I'm not feeding that many people. I don't want to use that much. And all I'm going to do, actually I'm going to use my fingers because it's easier, is just sprinkle a small amount in between each piece of bread there, just to start with. And then I'm going to mush it all in and spread it out with my fingers, because it'll actually melt through itself. It's mostly the garlic you want to spread out in there. The butter, it works its way in on its own accord pretty much. And then the final step that I like to do to really cheat is to put a thin slither of butter in the top of it that'll melt through as it's cooking, just like that, and spread its way across all the bread. Like I said, nice cheating shortcut. Now you can choose to wrap your garlic bread up in foil if you want it to cook slower. I usually just pretty much stick it in as it is because this bread's nice and soft and I'm happy for it to stay soft on the inside. I just want the garlic and the butter to melt and the outside to crisp up really, so I'm quite content with just shoving it straight in. Okay, now all we need is an oven tray. Stick some foil under there if you want to prevent it from making a mess, and just shove it straight in. Okay, let's have a look at our sauces here, guys. This one on the left's cooking really quite thick, so I'm going to turn that one off because that's pretty much done. The one on the right needs a little bit longer. You can tell by the edges, see that's a nice brown color. Perfect. Other than the steak cooking through. Now, depending on how you like your steaks, I forgot to ask you this before, if you like your steaks well done, you really want to make sure they sit there nice for a decent amount of time, obviously. I like mine medium rare, so I'm quite content with how they are right now. These ones will be a little bit more well done than the ones on the left, just because of the way the pans are set up, and that's absolutely fine, which means the people who are eating them can choose between the two. So now I'm going to organize my salad. So guys, our salad's nice and easy. Stick your bread aside. Get rid of your excess garlic there. And off your knife. Give that a quick wipe off. Right, salad time. Now I've got rocket and spinach I'm using. Just going to get a bowl. I'm only going to make a small, actually I'm going to make a bigger bowl to start with. Otherwise I'm not going to be able to mix it. A big bowl to mix it in. Pour your salad in. Now I've got some Spanish onion here I'm going to use. Just here. So I'm going to peel the outside layer off that. Create some slices. Sprinkle those through. All right, maybe, actually I can go one more. That outside one's not as nice, I'm gonna get rid of that. Sprinkle those through it. Okay, what else we got? Ooh, there's a tomato. Let's chop that up. It's a very soft tomato. I'm just cutting it into chunks. Stick that in there. And of course my favorite ingredient in salad, which we always have to put in, is a lovely avocado. Now one of these is really ripe. I've got to figure out which one it is. To tell if an avocado is ripe, just give it a squeeze. If it's really soft, it's good to go. So this one's uber soft, so I can tell it's a little bit over ripened. Nope. It's perfect actually. Fantastic. So the easiest way to do it, I reckon, is to just peel your avocado, chop it in half, then peel it, and then cut it into slices. Let's not put the skin in the actual salad. Let's peel that off. Now if your avocado is really mushy, peeling it's not going to be anywhere near as easy as this. The firmer it is, the easier it's to peel, but the less flavor it has because it's not quite ripe yet. And just cut it into thin slices. And then just spread those all through your salad. Just like that. Okay, now what else am I going to put in my salad? Let's put some capsicum in there. Yeah, capsicum seems good. Half a capsicum here. I'm going to take the edge off it because that's no doubt a little bit dry. Now with a capsicum you want to chop the insides out, or as a pepper as they call it in America. So chop all your white inside bits out because that's kind of gross. And get all those seeds out of there. Then I'm going to cut it crossways and into slices. Just like that. Now hopefully you've got a larger bowl in your house than what I do to actually present your salad in. So it looks like I might use 2 bowls actually to put it in. Unless I can find a bigger one. Now the next question is dressing. You guys can use whatever dressing you want. The classic is like a French dressing or Italian dressing, really easy. Throw it on top, mix it around. And then just toss your salad with your fingers. Feels better using your fingers. I think it tastes better as well. Oh, that's good avocado. All right, salad's organized. You just need to plate that up later to ready to go. So, our garlic bread's in. It's now crisping up. Our sauce is pretty much ready to go. Our salad's ready, so we're going to quickly finish cleaning up. Get your plates out ready to serve up. It's just a matter of literally pull it out of the pan, put it on the plate, and you're in action. So, that's what I'm about to do. And because I reckon we've got about another 5 minutes left on our garlic bread. So we'll see you in, I'm actually going to skip this one for 5 minutes. Normally I wouldn't skip in a video, but because all we're doing is cleaning and waiting for the garlic bread, we'll put a 5-minute countdown timer on here and see you in 5. Bye. Okay guys, it's been 5 minutes now. We're going to quickly turn the sauce off and everything like that, ready to go, as our steaks are going to be done perfectly, and we just need to finish plating up now. So make sure your stove's all off. Mine now is. Those sauces are ready. We're just going to grab our plates out. As I mentioned, I'm making 4 serves, so I'm going to get 4 plates here. Lay those out, ready. And organize our steaks now. So we're just going to fire our stove up again quickly. Both of those there. Bring that to a boil very quickly. Then we'll take it straight over and stick it on the plates as soon as it's ready. Now, as you can see, our garlic bread has started to brown on the outside, so it's nice and crispy. It's ready as well. Our salad's there ready to serve up. So you guys can put your salad in whatever bowl you like to. I'm going to be really lazy today and leave it in that one because I can. So I'm going to let the boys just pick at it and do what they want, and just serve up their steak ready. So as you can see here now, we're starting to bubble. Now if yours are like mine, your handles are going to be really hot, so do be wary of it, guys. There we are. Okay. Make sure your steaks are nice and warm. That's the main part. So in about 60 seconds, they're going to be ready. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pull my bread out now because it's done. Whoop, that's nice and hot. Whoop, I'm going to stick that up on the bench there, put it on a plate. Turn my oven off. Okay, give that one a little jiggle. That's one still quite running, so I'm going to leave that on there briefly. I'm going to turn this one off first. Bring it over. Now all I'm going to do is gently get my spatula under one of my steaks, lift it out of the pan, sit it on the plate, chunky bits on top, do the same thing with here, just like that, and then just pour some sauce on top like that there, and just evenly spread that out over it. Oh, smells so good. Right, rinse your pan out straight away, guys. Makes it way easier to clean. Let's organize this second one now. Turn him off too. There we go, there's number 4. And we move our garlic bread up between our plates. Sorry, number 3, this is number 4. There we are, just like that. And then again, drizzle some juice on top. Woohoo! Make sure there's enough juice across all of them. Oh man. All right, again, rinse off straight away. Make sure your oven's off, guys, can't leave that on. Okie dokie. Now, here's the fun part, clearing up ready. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Excellent. Just gonna break that up in chunks of 2. Just sit on the side of the plate there, ready. Really hot, so watch your fingers. Whew. Drop my garlic. Give a quick wipe around the edges of your plate there to make it nice and pretty. If you've splashed sauce everywhere like I have. All right, guys. Now, you have just made Bosciola steak, which is to die for. Now the best part about having a slice of bread on the side here is you can do the sneaky dip. Just go a little bit of bread there and wipe your plates down with the bread. Well, that sauce is absolutely perfect. Now, I just have some balsamic vinegar here. I'm just going to drizzle on my salad. Boys can do what they want with that. Man, it's got to be one of the best dishes ever. Hopefully yours tastes as amazing as mine does. They don't look that good, but they taste sensational. So, see you guys next time at Nathan for dinner. Enjoy your dinner. I'm about to. And enjoy what you do with this recipe. Post your comments below if you want to. Let me know how you went with it. Give any feedback, fire away. Let's see what you guys have got. And we'll see you next time. Bye.